This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason. What do you got on tap for us today?
Well, it's like we did Transformers Volume 4 like time before last, and now we're back with the fourth volume of Void Rivals, which, it doesn't really herald any creative changes like Transformers did, but this is a consequential volume because it does lead to some important payoffs for the story. It's while also teeing up the next major storyline. Storyline's so important, it's got its own name, the Quintesson War. But I'm getting ahead of myself. As far as what we've got for this volume, picks up almost directly from the cliffhanger ending of volume 3, where Solila got her mission from Zerta Trion to basically bring about unity, which in theory will also lead to the destruction of the gigantic Quintesson weapon known as Goliant. Problem is that when she shows up on the Agorian side to herald this, she does it right in the middle of the throne room, and while Derek's Derek is glad to see her, his dad is absolutely not and orders her to be murdered. But as far as what this volume actually starts off with, remember how dead Skuxoid was in the previous volume? Well, good news, everyone. He's less dead now. In fact, he's more than he was before. It turns out that when his kind is bisected in a certain way, they start to grow new versions of themselves that way, and that's what Wreck-Gar the Junkions. It's another Transformer, and also the name of my college band. So he comes upon him and takes him back to Junkion to figure out what to do with him. That doesn't last long, as not only are they attacked by one of the surviving members of Cobra Law, another robot storms in, kidnaps Skuxoid and his new grown clone offspring, whatever, and takes him back to someone who's revealed to be the Skuxoid Alpha. And if you thought that things were bad for Skuxoid, they're only going to get worse at this volume as he finds out the truth of his existence and eventually decides to do something about that. But as far as the Transformers side of things go, John, it seems like they're bringing in a lot of stuff here from Transformers the movie, in this volume with Wreck-Gar. All I remember about him, because it's been a long, long time since I've seen the movie, he was voiced by Eric Idle in the film. So how does he seem to you? Does he seem still the same lovable rhymer you remember?
Yeah, pretty much. There's not really a lot to say here about him, though. So it's kind of just, they just use him in a circumstantial way, which is kind of how they've been treating the Transformers in this in Void Rivals for the most part. So it's as they move along. So not really providing, in my opinion, a lot of substance to it, to the storyline. I mean, they just happen to be there. So they're just a piece in the and probably a non-consequential piece, honestly.
Yeah, so Kirkman's just throwing him in because, hey, it's I like this guy and I want to use him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just part of the overall universe that, it's hey, here's the planet of junk and there's the Junkions. And that's just one of the stops. So
okay. Yeah. So any other thoughts about how they're using the Transformers here? It's they seem, I mean, you said, it just feels very inconsequential for this volume, even with the Quintessons are scheming here.
Oh, the Quintessons are it's definitely they're a part of it, and it appears that they're related to one of the races. That's all I can tell. They're not really giving a lot of details on that, but they did mention something about that. Now I don't remember what page it was on exactly, but I remember reading something about it. Do you remember what they were talking about? Do you remember they kind of made some comments?
They're talking about where they were referring to Goliant is our only defense against who will not be named.
No, not exactly. Not exactly. Let me see if I can't. I've got the volume right in front of me. But they're trying to tie them into this. But so the where is that? Hold on a minute. There we go. They have an ultimate weapon. They will stop at nothing to reacquire it. Goliant is our only defense. If we ever face the return of, that is a name we dare not utter. The cosmos is always listening. So
Yeah.
So when he's saying that, there's Goliant and there's something else.
Mm-hmm.
The something else is Unicron, more than likely.
Yeah.
Like something they can't control. They may not even had a hand in creating it. So that's another thing altogether. So don't know. Just depends, because they've never ever said that there's never a connection in any media that the Quintessons had anything to do with Unicron. Mm-hmm. Outside of may acknowledge its existence.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, even though it's meant to be very mysterious here, but I think it's kind of a safe bet that that they are referring to Unicron here, because it's one thing for them to to say that, like, for Kirkman to do like a big secret threat like in the form of Goliant and build that up over a few volumes, but then to build up another even more secret, even more deadly threat. Well, I mean, it's like you're gonna have to do something even more impressive than what you've done here, and like Unicron seems to be the biggest, easiest thing that you can do, unless he really does have some other bigger, secret, more deadlier threat than this giant thing Goliant. But I guess we're going to see how that goes, in future volumes at this point. Yeah. But as far as the rest of the volume goes, much of it is focused on the messy business of unity between the Agorians and the Zertonians, because it's like with Solila now completely convinced that and basically given her holy mission by Zerta Trion, she's determined to bring about unity by any means necessary. Even though Derek and his dad are kind of concerned, because their version of history basically implies that unity is basically going to destroy the Sacred Ring and everyone on it. Well, the thing is Zerta Trion is also hedging her bets here, or at least the secret order in Zertonia is trying to do things for her, and they've managed to get Premier Zalilak on board with it, and he in turn gets Proximus back on his side as well, and they decide to launch their invasion of Agoria with what resources they have. That leads to a big fairly epic battle between both sides as the volume goes on. Now, one big change from this volume is that this is the first volume of Void Rivals not to be illustrated by original artist Lorenzo De Felici. Now, he's done strong work over the first three volumes, and the new guy, Connor Hughes, he's not bad. I mean, he does do a good job of conveying the scale of the battle and getting in some good solid action scenes, and also managing the Proximus versus Springer and Hot Rod business decently well later in the volume. He's pretty solid. I think that Felici's flowing grittiness that has been present in the first three volumes, I like that a bit more, but Hughes is a solid is a solid replacement, and he's good for what's delivered here. And I will also say that the whole feeling of war between the Agorians and the Zertonians, even though it's kind of handled briefly here, it feels a lot more convincing than the entire U.S. Falling to the Decepticons off panel in the previous volume of Transformers. It's one thing for for us to be told that, oh, it's like our country is like, you know, on the brink of ruin, but it's another for your made up alien fantasy empire to like both sides just, you know, go in for their big battle. It's like there's a lot less suspension of disbelief in that regard, and that definitely works in the story's favor here. What is a bit harder to believe is the is like the crisis of faith that Solila has, like after Unity comes up, starts occurring late in the volume, because even though, like, you know, she was like shown to be completely on board with what Zertatron was doing, well, all it takes is like it's like some bright lights, some like lots of imminent destruction around her, people, like, you know, going over in pain, and yeah, it's okay. There's a lot there, but at the same time, though, it's like she's basically been portrayed at this point as a true believer, someone who should have been able to just, you know, shake this off, and if anything, should have had her crisis of faith, like, you know, after it was too late, not before it was too late, as it happens here. So that didn't ring like completely true. Like, basically, you know, it feels like Kirkman, you know, was putting things off and just, you know, forcing this like just basically, like, you know, like forcing this plot point to happen without the necessary work, and that was a bit disappointing. But in the end, it's like we do see that, you know, both sides like do kind of come to an understanding about, you know, the true nature of Unity. Like, basically, they kind of had to, like, you know, get to rock bottom before they realized, you know, what we actually have to do here. And while I'm not entirely sure about the sudden decision to portray Zerta Trion as maybe villainous here, it's like she's still kind of a mysterious blank slate here, and even though, like, you know, Hot Rod and Springer talk about, hey, you know, maybe, like, you know, several millennia by your own is maybe cause you to go like a bit stir crazy. I don't know. It's like I'm willing to give Kirkman the benefit of the doubt that he's going somewhere like interesting with her character, but at this point it just kind of feels like, you know, she's just, you know, being driven by the plot, rather than by any, like, you know, discernible character motivations. But even so, it's like I said, I still enjoyed, like, you know, seeing, like, you know, the major plot of advancements done here. Like, the plot that is being forced upon the characters is still interesting and engaging. And if one character does have an interesting character arc that I want to see more of, it's Skuxoid, because as crazy as his developments are here, he really does get the feeling like he's like this tragic character about someone who's, like, you know, like trapped by memories that aren't even his. It's like, and he's just, you know, like being driven like to basically, like, you know, he just wanted to, like, be a guide to send a guide for his wife and kids who apparently don't even exist anymore, or we don't even know what happened to them. It's like, and because his alpha isn't telling him, and his alpha just, you know, basically is basically going to, like, divide him until he dies, because he's got no further use for him. But now that, you know, Skuxoid is, you know, determined to, like, you know, fight against this, it's like, I want to see where this is going. Like, it's because it's like it's taking this, you know, this one dimensional space junk collector, like, and giving him some actual pathos that I'm willing to believe in. So yeah, I want to see where that's going, and also, you know, where this Quintesson War is coming next time as well, because now the Quintessons are aware of where the Great Ring is. Well, they want their toy back, and looks like they're just going to bring everyone down on them to get it. And what role do the like surviving members of Cobra have to play in this? Well, I guess we'll see next time. But John, like, any other final thoughts, or just, you know, thoughts about just, you know, how the Transformers were used here?
I think that they were used as they have been in the past volumes, you know. So I think the Quintessons have more, which one could argue that they are Transformers, but they really aren't. I think the Quintessons have more here than more plot wise than the Transformers. I think you have Springer, Hot Rod, and the Junkion,
and Wheelie,
and Wheelie, which you can and even at that. So if I just take Wheelie, put him off to the side because he's always been kind of his rogue thing, and then really the only two Autobots are the ones that are working on that are trying to fight the battle on the planet with them, and then there's Wreck-Gar, who's a Junkion, and they're doing their own thing over here. They're just kind of like they're just coloring the plot a little bit, but they're not really offering much, to it. They're just like, hey, we're just kind of supporting cast, if you will.
Yeah, and I bet that the business with Hot Rod and Springer is probably going to find its way back into the Transformer side of things now that Kirkman's writing both series.
However, the more interesting parts of the Quintessons, which are based on other Transformers lore, they seem to have more of a hand here. So, and in Transformers lore, they're the ones who created them. So, which is kind of one of those things where I want to change my own head canon on, but it's okay. Actually, you just acknowledge it and move on, right? But so I don't think that. I think the Quintessons are they're definitely want to be more tied in with what's going on there. So they definitely have more of a hand. So I like it. That's fine. That works for me. In fact, I could probably have done without any Transformers at all in this volume. I don't think they're consequential at all. Unless there's something they're going to tie into it later, but I don't see any of their actions as being of any consequence. So,
like at some point, this being the comics, like at some point there's going to be a Transformers Void Rivals or like Transformers G.I. Joe crossover at some point, and of course the inevitable Transformers Void Rivals G.I. Joe mega crossover between all three titles.
Yeah, and that'll be a fun day. But as for this particular volume, actually I don't mind it. You have the Quintessons, you have the
Zertonians, the Agorians,
and so I think that's fine. To be honest with you, I think there's plenty there, and that's and this volume should not it shouldn't be too. Oh yeah, there's Scusoid, and then of course there seems to be something going on with that. Okay, fine. So and the Cobra La, the Cobra La or whatever. Yeah. The Cobra Law, there seems to be some kind of relationship between them, but it still hasn't been really pointed out yet. But right now, it's not like they seem to be kind of the outside parties to the whole thing. It's kind of like okay, they're also kind of like the Transformers. They're kind of like caught up in the events of what's going on, but they're not like they don't appear to be serving any purpose right now. I don't know.
Like even like this is like stuff that was set up way back in the Cobra Commander miniseries. That's basically specific to like that secret society of snake people that Cobra Commander hails from. Yeah. And at some point, it's eventually going to tie back in into G.I. Joe. We're just seeing it play out in the subplot play out in real time, as opposed to just having them show up back in the pages of G.I. Joe and just exposit there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I'd have to say about this volume. So
okay, so do you still feel invested in following Void Rivals? Like next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how about you?
Same here. It's like I still feel this is like the at this point it's kind of hard. I like this one better than Transformers, but also I did like the most recent volume of G.I. Joe a bit better than. It's like that I did the last one. So I think this is one that's probably Void Rivals is probably in ahead of the pack as far as most entertaining Energon universe titles so far. But we'll see with how things go because each volume has something to recommend it for next time. Void Rivals has the Quintesson War, G.I. Joe has the Dreadnought War, and Transformers has Kirkman and Dan Mora taking over for this arc. Yep. For that arc, so yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. All right. Do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Well, hopefully we'll have another special guest to talk about something that came out last year, And like I said, hoping that works out. If not, I may just go ahead and do my best of 2025 list then. So we shall see.
Sounds good. Catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glit.
Laters.